welcome to Viewpoints on episode 15.
Wow.
We're almost old enough to have a Sweet 16 party.
Right now we would be at our quinceañera.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So we're going old school with Viewpoints on. We're back to talking about one specific show to start the show off, and that show is Lost, as we promised last week.
We've been getting a lot of messages in a bottle to talk about Lost.
Yes.
So, here goes. Season premiere, season 4. They're getting ready. They're in the home stretch, so they should really start giving us some details and wrapping things up. So we're all excited. You sit down and you watch it, and it was awful. Now, I know we're going to get a lot of backlash for that, but I'm sorry. Those 2 hours were so hard to watch. Like, 45 minutes in, my head was hurting.
Yeah, no.
I felt like I needed to start taking notes and put a flow chart up on my wall. It was ridiculous. It was a time
Maybe we should get one and put it right here.
Right. It was a time traveling mess. That's what that show was.
I don't even know where to begin.
Well, let's start. We start with when we last saw them. The Oceanic 6 had gotten off of the island.
Yes.
And then the people who were left on the island, and then the island moves. Turns out,
technically,
what the island actually does is it jumps back in time.
Well, here's the thing I don't understand is the island moved, but then we find out that it's not the island moving, it's the people on the island moving, and there's only some of the people on the island that are moving.
Right.
So
the others apparently are fine because Richard comes and talks to Locke, and he's all good. He hasn't moved in time, but Locke has.
But then, like, the flight attendant and all the kids that the others stole from the tail end of the plane, they disappeared too, so I don't know what the rules are for who got. Hopefully it gets answered soon, because that was a huge plot hole that I was.
So then Sawyer is banging on the hatch door to try and get Desmond to come out, but what's his name? Daniel says if it hasn't happened, it can't happen. Blah blah blah. But then he knocks on the door, and Desmond opens because they had already met previously.
But then they don't
in
remember
Desmond's
each other.
time traveling episode. It was just like,
oh,
I didn't know what to do. And I got some messages from the island while the show was on from Dan. I didn't understand it, but apparently he thought it was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, no, he loved it.
I don't get it.
I get where he's coming from, that maybe through this time traveling stuff, that will answer some of the questions that we have, but like the statue and what the Dharma Initiative was doing. So I get that. I fully understand that, but it's still annoying me.
If I can't follow it, if we've learned anything from the downfall of Heroes, is that time travel is very tricky, and you just can't throw it out there as a solve. A finish and fix all to your problems. Yeah. It creates more mess.
Well, I was talking to Erin Tobin. She used to be the Inkscape editor for Viewpoints, and I was asking her what she thought of Lost and everything, and she said maybe it was just her because she loves time travel and Doctor Who, and that's where she gets most of her time travel stuff from. But the Lost time travel stuff doesn't make any sense to her.
Well, I'm a big fan of Doctor Who as well.
So you get her point on that?
I do. I get all my time travel information from Doctor Who and Back to the Future, and it seems like there should be a massive hole in the time-space continuum at this point. Like, the world should have just dissolved on itself with all the crazy time travel.
Because I just kept going, I kept having to go in my brain and, like, figure out, like, oh, wait, in this episode, did they do this? And in this episode, did they go back and do this? Yeah. And did, Desmond already met him, but then he didn't meet him, but then he kind of met him.
And that was a lot of the first hour. And the second hour, and that was just the first hour. The second hour was very, very Hurley heavy. Yeah. With him trying to, figure out what he should do, if he should go back to the island, and he's got Saeed. By the way, how badass is Saeed?
No, that part was good. I like that.
But it was very Hurley-centric, and I was a little bit confused because I didn't, understand why they were focusing so much on him. But at the end, Ben meets this woman who I personally think is going to turn out to be Daniel's mother, who says, you have to have Maul, you can't go back unless you have Maul.
She's been on the show before. She's actually met Desmond before.
I think it's going to turn out to be Daniel's mother. That's what they seem to be hitting
But she's supposed to be in England right now, so apparently she's in Los Angeles. And you can get to England
maybe she time traveled to LA.
Really quick you can get back, so...
she gets around like Jack Bauer.
Oh, okay. Well, answers my question.
Speaking of, we haven't talked about 24.
Oh, yeah, you didn't see it until just recently. So.
Right. We, I haven't seen last night's episode yet, I'm sorry, but,
That's okay.
We haven't talked about it. We're about 3 hours in, and
Four.
Four. Okay, I'm sorry, 4. We were led to believe that Tony Almeida was going to be one of the bad guys.
Yeah.
But of course, it turns out that he was just working undercover for the bad guys. Yeah, for a while he was actually a bad guy, but then he realized that these guys were just too bad, and he couldn't work with them anymore. I sort of get where he was coming from. I mean, he's had it rough.
Yeah, no, as most of the characters on that show have.
Right. I mean, talk about sacrificing for your country. These people have really made their sacrifices.
It's true.
But I'm just happy to have Jack Bauer back. Just the world doesn't seem right without Jack Bauer. You know? There were some questions raised this week, though. I was reading online, Kiefer Sutherland's contract is only through 8 years. And next season would be the 8th season of 24, day number 8. So it's like, does the show end? Does he resign?
Well,
can it keep going without Jack Bauer?
Well, I was reading an interview with the executive producer and the creator who said that one more season after this, the movie, and then that's it.
I love the show, but there is a certain redundancy to it at this point. So I could see how you finish out season 8 and then you have the movies maybe, and it wouldn't be, if you just had a movie every couple years or something, it wouldn't feel so redundant. But at the same time, as much as I love Jack Bauer, I love Kiefer Sutherland, the show is set up so that if they found a strong enough actor and a strong enough character, it could seemingly continue.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
But you'd have to find somebody really strong to fill his shoes.
Maybe Lawrence Fishburne in a couple of years.
Really. Another great spy show came back this year with the other day actually was Burn Notice.
Yes, I watched it. I loved it.
Oh, it's so great. I mean, I know you're as big a fan of the show as I am. I think what really keeps the show together, though, for me, is Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, no, he's the glue that holds that show together. He's funny, the action's good, it's like sexy, and
Although we got to see a nice little dramatic side of him this week when Michael was sort of, going off the rails a little bit after his somebody tried to kill him, and Sam, Bruce Campbell's character, he really showed how much of a friend he is to Michael. Because they got in a little fight, and he's like, you can stand here and punch me, but I'm not going to let you do this. So it was a nice little dramatic moment.
It was really good.
Yeah.
I was shocked, and my jaw, like, and then I'm like, holy crap, this is good,
Yeah.
And it kind of pushed the story forward. You got a little more mystery.
Right.
There's an overarching mystery to the show. Not like Lost.
There's no time travel?
Like, it's just one. We know, who burned him and why. That's it.
That's the mystery. And then these people came in it with... Trisha Helfer from Battlestar Galactica, she's been leading him around like these are the people who burned him and they have a reason behind it. But then somebody tries to kill him, and at first you think, well, it must be these people.
Yeah.
But it turns out it's not them.
It's a bigger bad.
Yeah. So that adds another level to it. Yeah. And at the same time, you get the weekly little cases that he tries to solve. So... It's really one of the best shows. I enjoyed it.
And another show on USA that we love is Psych. It's back, and this last episode, which is Earth, Wind, and wait for it, about arson. What would they call it?
The furderer, fire murderer. Yeah, the assassin. Seriously, Psych is the kind of show where it is just the funniest thing. I was watching it, and. Henry has always been about wanting Sean to be a cop. Mm-hmm. So when he's trying to solve this murder at the firehouse, Henry comes into the office and he says, you see, this is why firemen are bad. I did everything I can to try and keep you off the pole. I fell out of my chair laughing. Because it's just like, I don't know how Corbin Burnson delivered that with a straight face.
I don't know how he did it either. It was great. I always like that show because it cheers me up. It makes you laugh, even if you're in the worst mood possible.
Right. So
so that's why I usually just DVR that and wait for you're really down. Watch that show, you'll be laughing.
It's really one of the funniest shows on TV.
And you should be watching it.
So that's our TV recap.